So
let's get this documented. So you saw a homeless guy's wiener.
I saw a homeless guy's wiener. I saw a couple having sex in a car, and I saw
With a homeless guy?
Nope.
Was the homeless guy involved?
No.
Oh.
No, and I saw a hit and run.
Did the homeless guy get hit?
No.
Oh.
Some
Oh my God. Wait, the couple having sex hit the homeless guy.
No.
Damn it.
No.
They're not involved at all?
No.
I hate
These
this
are all
story.
three separate. These are three separate incidences. Okay.
How do you? So wait, did you see the person who did the hit and run? So if not,
No. All I saw.
It's like a Chappelle stand-up thing. It's like, oh shit. Just sprinkle some crack on him.
No. So the hit and run. I don't know. I don't know what the hell was going on.
Wait a minute. Did you hit someone and run?
No. No. So I was driving in my area. I won't give any specifics.
Why?
Because they kept going. And the person I was
They. Is that how we identify now? Is that your pronoun now? You're a they?
I saw it from about 3/4 of the football away, and there was like, so about a football field away.
3/4
Yeah, whatever. For fuck's sakes, you want to hear the story or not?
Yes, but hold on.
All right.
I got to make fun of this one thing. 3/4 of a football away.
Are we talking about the homeless guy's wiener or the car accident? Come on, Emma, get it right.
Oh
Yes.
God, the homeless guy's wiener caused you to hit somebody, and then,
No,
and then
so-
you had sex with a dead body. That was the couple. I solved the mystery. Where's the mystery machine?
How did you get that close to a homeless guy's wiener?
Well, actually, he was about 50 feet away.
That's a huge wiener.
No, so
Wow.
the wiener was. I was driving. I come up to a red light, and so I'm in the middle lane. I'm in the middle left turn lane, and about 50 feet to the side of the road, there's the guardrail, there's the shoulder, there's 2 lanes of traffic, there's the turn lane. So I'm just sitting at the red light. I look over and I see a homeless guy walking with a shopping cart. Dude must have been like 7'2", 350 pounds. He's a big dude, right? He's kind of like staggering, like he's drunk, but he's homeless, so he's not drunk. He's probably
Homeless people all walk the same.
Exactly. So he's kind of shuffling along, and all of a sudden he stops, looks down, looks up, leans over the shopping cart,
Making sure those
takes
drones.
he's leaning on the shopping cart like this, takes his other hand, pulls the front of his pants down, reaches around, pulls the back of his pants down, so now he's bare ass, like from the thigh down, or from the thigh up, he's bare ass, whips his penis out, just leans over the shopping cart, and starts peeing. And I mean, there's cars coming, cars going. I'm at a red light because I'm waiting for my red arrow to turn green. I'm like,
And this is in Albany?
it's in the area.
Yeah, okay.
So, so I look over. I'm like, what the? Oh,
I couldn't look away.
he's peeing.
It's like the Hindenburg.
Yeah. Wow, it's like one of those fountains.
Look at the
whole
kids
time.
running through it and everything.
That's fucked up. So I'm like, oh wow, he's peeing, and I'm watching the cars travel by. I'm like, really? No one else is gonna look? And I'm talking. Everybody was like, I'm sure people like eye glanced, but they didn't want to be caught looking. Here I.
Daylight, or
Oh, yeah.
Really getting dark? Oh.
No, broad daylight. This is
Oh.
like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, that makes it awkward.
No, close though. So I'm like, how come nobody's like, everybody's ignoring this? Here I am, so I roll the window, I'm like, nobody sees this.
Somebody help!
The guy just finishes, and my red arrow turns green. He starts pulling his hands. I'm like, have a good one. I just drove away.
It's like George Carlin and was it George Carlin and what the hell movie was it where he's you're doing it all wrong.
Oh,
He's a homeless-
Dance on Bob Shank.
Yeah, that's what.
4 hours on the road and we ain't seen one person. It's because you're doing it all wrong. What? You want to get paid? Yeah, but what happens when you don't make good with the head? You get kicked. If you don't make good with the head, yeah, don't be so suburban. All the hitches are doing it. It's one of the unwritten rules of the road. What? No, it's one of the I don't remember what he says. Excuse me.
So wait a minute. What? All right. So you saw a homeless man naked. Then you saw.
I saw his wiener.
Then you saw him having sex with a man.
Not the same guy. So I went to one of my regular pickups. So after hours, they during operations, they can let as many trucks in as there are doors available. After hours,
What was your operation?
I was at a pickup freight.
Operation Thunderdog.
It was a Thunderbird actually they were in, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever. So
Is it neon?
So I roll up. It's after hours. Now, after hours, one truck at a time. Because there's a specific door. The floor supervisor lets the driver know what door. Lets the security guard know which driver needs to go to what door. And that's it. So nobody's grabbing the wrong freight, whatever. So, sure as shit, I get up there. There's one truck in front of me. By the time... Well, there was two trucks there, but one truck was rolling in. So I stopped for a split second. I'm looking over. What's that?
What's that? Would you look at that?
Yeah, one, please.
Would you just look at it?
I was waiting until you were done chatting. I was going to ask if you wanted a coffee before I went.
No, thank you. This is good enough.
Like a crackhead. I heard the carbonation. What's it? I don't even care. Give me it. Jeez, Andre.
Schweppes. I know, right? So,
Shut up. He was already making fun of my feet earlier today.
I need these to feel to. Mosquito. That's a vaccine in there.
sorry, I'm just thinking about how that can looks normal in your hand versus my hand.
No, I know. That's why I'm telling you to shut up.
Pick you up, put you on the fridge, and be like, it's so cute, sit there.
Andre did that to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I know.
I pay.
Yeah. No. So I'm coming up and I'm like, oh, it's after hours. I'm just kind of looking around. I see the one truck about to go through the gate. I look over. I see a car. I'm like, oh, maybe somebody's just
Cool hydraulics.
Maybe somebody's just after work. Maybe because we used to store a bunch of shit in our cars after work.
Not
Well,
animals,
no,
like fucking what, a grizzly bear or something?
No,
What's
no.
in there? A giraffe?
You used to keep a bag, baseball gloves, baseball
I
bags.
still do.
Exactly. So your bag seat's usually pretty full of shit.
Right.
And when you want to find something, you have to rummage around in the back to find it, don't
Okay,
you?
now I got you.
There you go. So I'm like, oh, maybe somebody's rummaging through the
Body.
back seat.
But he got there.
It's still alive.
Yeah. Come on, buddy. Pedals on the right. That'll get you where you're going faster.
R means reverse, right?
Fucking Christ. So I see the car shuffle I see the car shimmy a couple times. I'm like, oh, maybe somebody's rummaging around. But then I kind of look back. I'm like,
You should have went up to the door. Hey, you need help looking for something, buddy?
so all of a sudden I look back. I'm like, oh, there's a rhythm. It's staying consistent. Okay. And then I look through. All the windows are tinted except the windshield.
Babies.
All the
So
windows.
what I'm hearing is you approached a car. 'Cause
No.
you're like, are they fucking in there?
No.
He's singing one of those sea shanties as he's working.
There was a
One more pole and
No, so because I'm in the truck lane and the parking lot's right there. So here I am.
that's about it.
I crashed. There was a
he's
splatter when they were done. I think
He is excited about this story. I gotta
Far worse things than
raise this up. I feel like Don Imus.
And we've got
There we
more
go.
soda, too.
Thank you very much. So, so here's the one truck in front of me. Here I am.
Half of a soda.
Fucking shut up.
And he's
Let me see your
already
phone.
just out of control.
Let me see your phone.
Why? So you can spill some shit
Yeah,
on this too?
exactly. I'm gonna stick it on my butt.
All right.
So truck's in front of me. Here's their car in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, put it right next to the soundboard.
Whatever.
Come on.
I'll buy a new one.
Tipsy.
We do have sound. Okay. So mind you, this is like 50 feet.
Yes.
And this is a whole employee parking lot.
Right.
So he goes forward. I get right about here, and then he stops again. I look over, and that's when I see the back of a girl in a white tank top, and like the shirt peel up. You see the bra pop, and then you see the shirt flip up forward. Like you see from the side, little side boob
And
action.
every truck driver in that row is all.
No, because if you show up after hours, like it's all the LTL guys. We all know. as soon as they move, you gotta move because the way the security guy has to come out. He walks. He sees you through the window, goes out of his office, walks down the hallway, goes around the corner, comes down the stairs, and he's got to walk about 50 feet to the trucks. That's just enough time because there's 2 lanes of traffic. That's just enough time for an OTR guy to slip in, go around the building, and park for the night, which is illegal. They don't want drivers parked in their on their premises overnight. But because of the amount of time it takes the guy to get where he's going and stuff like that, it's just enough time for a truck to slip through. So as soon as you move, as soon as the truck in front of you moves, you got to move. Because if an over-the-road guy sneaks in...
sounds kind of rapey.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, it's an over-the-road guy snuck in.
So, you don't pay attention to other shit. But me, in my mind, something. Ooh, move. Ooh, shiny. Move. Ooh, there's a butterfly. Move. Ooh, they're fucking. Okay, cool. So, and then of course the guy in front of me started moving like, would love to keep watching, but can't. And I started driving. And then I got in, got out. By the time I got done, got my freight out.
You were sitting there like, oh, free porn.
Yeah, exactly. This is better than the hub.
Yeah. Oh, I can't switch videos in this one.
Wow, this is boring. Get over with the bullshit.
Thumbs down.
You can't make her titties bigger.
How do you dislike? Knock on the window. Where's your dislike button? This video sucks. No, and then the hit and run I saw. I was on one of the main routes.
He's gotten serious and stoic now.
One of the main. Oh no, this one was funny coming up to it.
Oh, just kidding.
So I'm by a Taco Bell, and I'm at a red light, and about a football field down.
The one on Wolf Road?
No. 7.
Okay.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Thank you. So you know where that Taco Bell is? Night moves is across the street.
Perfect.
So
hopefully the strippers don't go to Taco Bell first. And that they go afterward.
Going to Night moves that night on a Tuesday. Why is there splash zone markings?
Dude, I didn't know you had a referee
Right
shirt.
across the street.
I didn't have a referee shirt.
So I'm at that light. I'm heading down towards where that road is named, where it ends. And down the road about a football field and a half, there's like another red light.
Yeah.
Well, somebody blows through off of Maxwell, I think is what it is. No. Whatever. 155. They come off 155. They blow that red light. It's it was like a reddish. It was almost like a fire engine red SUV, and this dude. I saw the guy I came up to the red light. I was yellow when I got up to it. I saw the dude get out of his Beamer, BMW. And dude, if a person didn't belong in a BMW, it was this guy. This dude gets out. He's wearing cargo shorts, flip flops, a rainbow poncho. Not a poncho.
Oh.
Remember those old hippie hoodies, like the hemp hoodies?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's wearing one of those.
Bob Marley.
Yes, he's wearing one of those, and he's a white guy, and he's got dreads.
Oh, he's a tourist.
Naturally.
And I'm like, what are you getting out of a BMW for?
Smokes pot and smells.
So he
bad.
closed the door, boop, boop, throws his dreads back, walks into that seed place. Now, the light had turned red at this point, so I had to stop. I saw the guy getting out. I saw all that. I'm waiting. I see the green arrow for the left guys go, so there's people turning down that road. And I'm like, okay, I'll look up. Here comes this red fire engine red SUV. Hops they did this number. Blew the red light. Did this a couple times. Swerved on over both lanes a couple
Hit the
times.
sign.
Popped the curb.
Naturally.
Hit this dude's rear end.
Hit me, dude.
Yeah, hit dude's BMW rear end. There's the quarter panel. The bumper and the quarter panel of this red SUV are stuck on the ground. And guess what gets stuck to this person's SUV?
License plate.
The BMW's bumper and license plate.
Really?
They swapped shit and kept driving. I'm like, well, I guess he doesn't need his information.
Yes.
Because you just swapped license plates. That red SUV kept going. I'm like, green light. Oh, gotta keep going. So I started going. And I was like, oh, man.
And once again, the universe corrects itself.
They literally, oh, she took my bumper, but at least I got her sweet bumper. No, all I could think about was like, oh, man, that poor hippie dude.
Yeah.
Bro, my ride.
This sucks, dog.
Dude, I'm going to have to sell so much pot to replace this. My dad didn't even know I took it. And then the red SUV, all I could think of was like, wow, buddy. It was like, what was it? It was like
What was he
12
running from? That's
Oh,
the
dude, I
question.
think he had a liquid lunch. I think it was a guy. That was the best part.
Road soda.
He was having road sodas or something. He was one of those. Remember Joe Johnson from Keymark, Toothless Joe, Pain Booth.
The old one?
Yeah.
The old one?
Not so old. He was kind of like challenged.
It's just like fucking everybody on that line. I don't know.
This is true.
That was one of those programs that work.
Imagine
That's why we met each other on that line, you know.
Imagine Scoot, but a 5 o'clock shadow, an unkempt goatee, missing half his teeth, and wearing a greasy sleeveless shirt.
Oh, wait, he looked like a bear?
Looked like a construction worker that...
Yeah, I do remember. I do remember him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's what he looked like. And he had the hard hat on and everything.
Wait, he had a hard hat on?
in the fucking car.
Is this a fucking music video? Like a Village Person? Like, I'm late for my shoot!
I don't know. All I know is I'm like, well, somebody enjoyed the little bit of a liquid lunch and is late to getting back to work. It's probably going to get kicked off
Was
the
that
site.
during the day?
Oh, yeah.
That was during the day.
I tell everybody, the area I drive, I see some shit.
Just across the creek. So...
Sounds like a fucking 2007 teenage sitcom or drama show.
No, that's
Across
Dawson's Creek.
Across the...
Or Dawson's River. Or what is it?
Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's, yeah.
Across the
Dawson's
brook.
small brook.
No, across the brook.
Dawson's, the stream only runs when it rains really hard. Oh, Jesus.
You remember his real name?
Oh.
James Vanderbeek.
Well, I do now.
There you go.
Oh, jeez. I don't even know how to segue into that.
But those grand old shows we used to love and watch. Grand old shows. Speaking of grand old things,
Yeah, it was a party to watch them sometimes. Like Party of Five or The Grand Old Party. That was a really bad segue, but that was like not even a 90 degree. That was just a complete, let's just jump from one track to the next.
we started out with smoking cigarettes. Let's do meth. Went from one train to the other real fast.
You know those candy cigarettes that we used to have? Yeah, I think we're ready for heroin. I think that's a good segue, right? That's good. Yeah. So apparently they're moving forward with
Impeachment, yep.
Yeah. Well, the inquiring on impeaching Joe Biden. So they're not actually moving forward with an impeachment, but they're asking questions, which is kind of what's been talked about for a while. It's like, well, the Republicans won't actually impeach him, but they'll have a discussion about bringing up questions about possibly impeaching Joe Biden, because that's how the right usually works. Usually. There was a...
Did you hear about the memo the Democrats put out about that?
With the impeachment?
Yeah. To all the...
I don't think so. Media?
Yeah.
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 I did hear that. Actually, I think that's in here somewhere.
Hey, we're just saying, you guys need to focus more on what's going on that people care about than these pesky little impeachment proceedings.
That's actually from
Punctual
CNN Business.
pussy.
It's White House sends letters to news execs
and
urging
media.
outlets to ramp up scrutiny of GOP's Biden impeachment inquiry based on lies. Quotes. Because the White House sent a letter to top U.S. news executives on Wednesday, urging them to intensify their scrutiny of House Republican Speaker Kevin McCarthy after he launched an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden, despite having found no evidence of a crime.
Bullshit.
Quote, it's time for the media to ramp up its scrutiny of House Republicans for opening an impeachment inquiry based on the lies, Ian Sams, a spokesperson for the White House counsel's office, wrote in the letter, which is first obtained by CNN. There's a whole... I saw some videos, too, of some a little lesser known, but still decent-sized news outlets getting it, which they lean more right or just straight up neutral. Yeah, and they're like, we have the letter right here, and they're reading it off and just kind of like chuckling at it. It's like, what the fuck, you know? The lies we're speaking of here.
Yeah, the so-called no evidence that doesn't exist.
AP News, they had a journalist there, and she was speaking to Kevin McCarthy, and she asked Kevin McCarthy, she goes, you have no evidence here. Like, what is your evidence, claiming there is none, against Joe Biden? Like, what you are presenting is really nothing. There's no substance. So Kevin McCarthy goes, really? It's like, so without saying anything about impeachment, he goes, is it not true that he lied, saying that he never talked to his son about his business dealings with over in Ukraine with Burisma, his company over there, and it's she goes, I can't say. And then he goes, was it a lie that on his conference calls he was trying to he had conference calls trying to sell his product? He goes, is it a lie that he had dinner at the Cafe Milano with the clients of Hunter Biden and he received $143,000 to buy a Porsche the next day, the clients being? And he goes, was it a lie that $3 million were obtained from Russian oligarchs in a transfer to Biden's shell company after the aforementioned dinner at the diner? It's like, was this, and this is all stuff that's come out already. This is all evidence that they're starting to gather. All this is true things. Nothing was said. Like, she, on some of them, she would agree. She's like, yes, yes, yes. But again, it's one of those things where many journalists have said you can always get a yes, but they go right back to no. It's like, well, yeah, that's true. That did happen. Yes, I guess that, yes, they said that happened. Well, evidently, that's what they're claiming in the court. Yes, I guess that's what happened. So, by rules of deduction, wouldn't you say, so there's a bunch of lies here? Isn't that reason to at least what they're doing, inquiring and impeachment? No, there's nothing there. So how do you go from all this to no?
We caught the guy with his penis forcefully penetrating another guy, but there's still nothing there. There's no crime committed. Okay.
Yeah.
Your logic makes sense. You're free to go. In fact, finish what you're doing, murder him, and then fuck off. In fact, start a movement. You're going to be the next spokesperson.
And cruising around on social media, too, I see a lot of pretty much what we do, like smaller... smaller constituents, smaller platforms, whatever, just talking about whatever. Left-leaning, all same talking points. There's nothing here. Or there's some I did see, well, if Joe Biden's guilty, then why isn't Trump?
What's fucked up is, oh my God, here's the fucking part that confuses me. When all this shit was going on with Trump, the left is coming at him hard. Democrats, whatever. They're coming at him hard. What about this? Everything was proven. Well, like, they obviously failed. And they found out he was innocent on everything.
On things that what's now coming out is pretty much projecting. So Russia collusion.
Hold on. So the Russian collusion, it was all fake. It was proven to be fake.
Well, it wasn't really fake. It wasn't Trump and his cabinet doing it.
It was Clinton.
It was Biden and Obama and really the Biden family doing it. That's what I say, projecting. It's like, the stuff we're doing? Well, let's blame it on him.
So here's the thing, like, they were proven innocent. He was proven innocent. But now, like you just said, I've heard, because I've seen a few of those videos where they're like, well, if Biden should be impeached for lying, why wasn't Trump? He was. And
Twice.
And he was found innocent. Well, he did it, so that means it's okay for Biden to do it, and we shouldn't impeach him. In fact, they make him president for life for the next 3.5 hours before he dies of old age or a stroke or erectile dysfunction.
And you know what the difference between the two is? What? The difference between the two as well is we're talking about, and this is the problem with never Trumpers. They don't like his personality. And it's newsflash for everybody in politics, especially like in this day and age. Anyone who wants to be in politics, right there, they want to be in politics, which I think is a form of psychosis. Like, if they want to be in politics, they have this huge chip on their shoulders. They're incredibly arrogant.
Oh, yeah.
They want power, money, or both. So,
far and few in between will you find the genuine diamond in the rough that wants to make a difference.
Right. When they see Trump, they see someone, well, ever since 2016 when he announced he was running as a Republican, they see Trump as this horrible person. It's like, oh, I wouldn't, I think his mouth gets him in trouble. He says all this stuff that's rude and crude and all the above.
He's American.
And that's the reason,
Okay.
Good point. And he's from New York. So,
Yeah. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Fucking... That's it. That's it.
Don't walk the
Trump's from New York. That means everybody in New York is a right Republican, red-blooded, right red Republican. Way to go, New York City. We are all Republicans thanks to you.
So, he's a New Yorker, and that's his mouth. They don't like the fact that he says shit. That's worse than selling out his country. Somehow. That's, if you boil down their arguments, you boil down everything they've thrown at Trump, the wall of Trump, and how nothing is stuck except this, prostitute stripper or whatever, which stuck and then just slowly rolled down like one of those sticky balls you get out of a quarter thing, you know.
Storm.
Is there oil on that wall? His hair is oily.
Nope, it's Astroglide.
Either way, it's not sticking. Does that count as a stick? It kind of stuck. I don't know. Let's try. Yeah, but everything they're throwing at him is not working.
Excuse me.
And everything they're throwing at, everything they're throwing at Trump is actually in some way linked to Joe or Hunter.
And that's the worst part. Like,
Or Bo, because Hunter's such a stand-up character.
Oh, God, I would totally trust my financial and family future on him.
Do you hear?
He's great with kids.
You know, the one thing with
Pumps and dumps.
the one thing with Hunter is he had an affair with the, at the time, recently widowed wife of Beau Biden after his brother died, and he had an affair with Beau's wife.
While Bo was alive?
No, after, like right after he died.
So then it wasn't an affair. It was just a relationship. No, seriously.
That's
sad, but
that's
true.
true. But
I don't want to defend the fucker. He's a deadbeat dad who doesn't give a shit about his fucking daughter. He asked his grandfather. Asked his goddamn father.
He's a deadbeat dad, and now his dad's son is dead.
Like Biden, it took all of this stiff. It literally took... You notice how that hasn't been in the news anymore?
What?
Biden's daughter? Hunter's daughter?
The diary?
No.
Showering with her?
No. Hunter's daughter.
Oh, Hunter's daughter. Oh, yeah. With it's like, well, I guess what's his 7th granddaughter, 6th?
Yeah, all of a sudden that
really
was in
mine.
the news, and boom, it was right out. Yeah, fucking Joe paid enough money to get that shit swept under the rug.
Someone did. I don't think Joe knows. Joe doesn't.
Oh, of course Joe doesn't know. He doesn't know anything about what his son does.
Joe doesn't know where he is. Joe doesn't know where he was.
Joe doesn't have any idea about what goes on with Hunter's business dealings.
No.
And I totally believe that when it comes to his granddaughter now.
And the other thing Joe doesn't...
They won't let me take her in the bath. You're supposed to give her a bath, not get in with her. Back in my day, the kids used to rub my hair and legs and tune X Men under pressure.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
I grew up in the black streets of Los Angeles.
Oh my God. Biden has...
He was raised by 5 different ethnicities.
Yeah, he has his lies or misremembers, whatever you want to call them, are
Stroke-offs, I like to call them.
Yeah. they're on the scale of Hogan lies. I mean, they are majestic, some of these. I mean, Hogan, if anyone doesn't know the list of Hogan lies, there's a plethora of them out there. But just to rattle some off, like Hulk Hogan once claimed that he wrestled 400 nights a year. His explanation for it was in his traveling from the States to Japan, the time difference, he would land in one place technically the day before or the same day as what he left another, and then he'd wrestle both days. So in this stretch of, say, I don't know, 25, 28, 30 hours, it technically was the same day in his eyes, I guess. So that counted as I wrestled twice or three times or whatever in that day, or 3 days worth. It's like, well, I left here at 11 and showed up here at actually 7 before, so I wrestled again. Somehow. Another one was Elvis was a huge Hulkamaniac. Elvis died in 1973, I believe. Hogan didn't start wrestling until 1977. So that's another one. He was supposed to play bass guitar for Metallica. Here's another one. He was the original face of the George Foreman grill. The reason George Foreman got it was because he missed a phone call, and then they moved on to George Foreman. Oh, Mike Tyson was afraid to fight Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, and when he slammed Andre the Giant, he said he broke, I don't know the numbers, I'm just throw one out there. It was multiple, like 7 or 13 vertebrae in his back. He goes, oh, I felt them all crack up down my back when I slammed him. He was somewhere around 700 pounds or something when he slammed him, which he wasn't, but. So that's just some of the lies. There's like this whole, there's a laundry list of them. They're magical. Do yourself a favor. It's a treat to read through them. You're like, wow. Especially if
Send me a link.
If you're a wrestling fan and you even like halfway know the history of wrestling and numbers and whatnot, you go through them and it's like, wow, I didn't know this. I'm educated now.
You're gonna have to send me a link.
I will. They're mad. Actually, there's an episode from a long time ago. Me and Rich went through Hogan lies. Like the whole episode is just us going through Hogan lies. But okay,
I might remember that.
So that was like episode. It must have been the 40s or 50s. I don't know, something like that. So those are Hogan lies, but Biden's lies lately have been right up there, and boy, they're magical as well. So the whole thing came about because Joe Biden skipped the 9/11 memorial. First president in 22 years to do that. He was in Anchorage, Alaska. Apparently, his flight from, was it North? I don't know if it was Vietnam. I think it was Vietnam. Was they were running low on fuel, so they had to refuel. Fine. A lot of people's argument was leave the day before then. Like if it takes that long to get back over here, and you know you're not going to make it, like no president since 9/11, they've skipped the Memorial Day for 9/11.
Yeah.
So he did. He was in Anchorage refueling, so he missed it. You can argue whether or not it was a valid excuse to miss it. That's not the point. For me, anyway, that's not the point. The point is what came out of his mouth during it. One thing, when he was over at this meeting, once again he falls asleep. He's got this slew of just like mishaps and what he's talking about and everything. That's a whole other thing. But when he was talking in Anchorage on 9/11, he's fact checked. He claimed he was at Ground Zero the day after 9/11. CNN, again, politics. In a speech to service members first responders on the anniversary of the terrorist attacks on 9/11, President Joe Biden falsely claimed he was at Ground Zero the day after the Twin Towers fell in Manhattan. Biden, returning from a whirlwind trip to Asia, said in his Monday remarks at the military base in Alaska, "I join you on this solemn day to renew our sacred vow. Never forget, never forget. We never forget. Each of those precious lives stolen too soon when evil attacked. Ground Zero in New York. I remember standing there the next day and looking at the building, and I felt like I was looking through the gates of hell. It looked so devastating because of the way from where you could stand. It's a Bidenism. First fact, Biden was not at Ground Zero the day after 9/11. He actually went to Ground Zero 9 days after the attacks. He was actually on the Senate floor that day. A White House official then emailed his comment in the condition of anonymity. The president first visited the World Trade Center 9 days after September 11th because he was part of a bipartisan delegation from the Senate. Another false claim about his past. It's possible, of course, that Biden genuinely misremembered the visit to Ground Zero when visit to Ground Zero occurred. As president, though, he has repeatedly made false claims about his past. He did it 3 times in a single speech last month, falsely claiming to have witnessed a bridge collapse in Pittsburgh in 2022. He actually visited the site more than 6 hours after the collapse, falsely claiming his grandfather had died just days prior to his own birth at the same hospital. His parental grandfather died more than a year prior in another state. And again repeating a long debunked false story about a supposed conversation with an Amtrak conductor who was deceased at the time that his story would have taken place. But that one I'm like, well, maybe he was talking to him. Maybe he was sitting on his couch just having a conversation.
I see dead people.
With a dead person.
Actually, I got a joke for you.
Okay.
I got a joke for you. What does The Sixth Sense and Titanic have in common?
I don't know.
I see dead people.
Yes, that's true. In 2021 and 2022, he falsely claimed to have been arrested during a civil rights protest. He had previously said merely that an officer had taken him home from a protest. Falsely claimed he used to drive an 18-wheeler. The White House once said that he, at one time, had a job driving a different vehicle, being a school bus. Falsely, he claimed he had visited the Pittsburgh synagogue where worshipers were killed in 2018 in a 2018 mass shooting. He had spoken to its rabbi by phone and had not actually gone. He had falsely also claimed that he had visited Iraq and Afghanistan as president. He made repeated visits as a senator and vice president, but not as president. Told a false story involving a late relative and a Purple Heart, and he had falsely described his interactions decades ago with late Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir. He also claimed, just the other day too, this one just popped out just this last week, the other day he claimed he used to teach at the University of Pennsylvania. He also, there's a story of him talking about when, this is when the whole LGBTQ movement was like hot and heavy, like right when it was getting into its like peak. He had that.
Oh yeah, right when they're about the climax.
Right when it was about the climax, he had that speech talking about how his father dropped him off at school or something like that, and he goes, "I saw 2 men well dressed, and they kissed each other, and I looked over at my dad, and I said, 'What is that?' And my dad said, 'Son, that's love.'" Apparently, that was nowhere near any taking place at all.
I'm terrible at lying, but you should believe everything I said because it's 100% true.
It was Vietnam. That's where he was in. In Vietnam, when he was over there, he also, when he was out on stage, when he was taking questions from the journalists and press, he just blatantly said that, "Oh, I'm just doing," whatever it was, he said something along the lines of, "I'm just doing what I'm told." And then he goes, "I was told I'm taking questions from 5 different people, and everyone else, if you didn't get your questions in, then you don't get anything."
Joe, stop reading the hint cards.
Yeah, he said, while saying if there was any other people who hadn't spoken yet, he was calling on them, or he wasn't calling on them, and claims he was given 5 people to call on. Quote, "I'm just following my orders." And then the staff proceeded to cut his mic off as he was just talking, basically following his orders. Like, "No, don't read that part." They cut his mic off. and just kind of ushered him off the stage.
Kill Whitey! No!
we haven't gotten that far yet, but damn, we're close. Actually, you know what? We kind of have. Right from the get-go. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Yeah.
That was one of those where everyone off stage goes, no!
Yeah! Burn, baby, burn! You gotta fight for your right
To vote! Yeah.
I have a dream. Kill Whitey. Oh, fuck.
Holy hell.
That's great. Even, well, you know what? I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry. Even Chris is in his grave like, motherfucker, really? You gonna wake me up for this shit? No, no towels. Need sleepy.
What was the other one? He goes, that's one small step for man, one giant. I have a dream. Anyway, riding the Biden train further, because this is a good one. This week was a good one for him.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
really for him, but
Definitely saucy.
so he traded 5 prisoners
For like $6 billion.
5 Iranian prisoners and $6 billion,
dollars.
which opens up a fucking can
Oh,
of
yeah.
worms, a big can of worms.
American policy, we do not negotiate with terrorists.
Not supposed to negotiate with anyone for prisoners, just for this reason. But terrorists, yeah, specifically. But this sets a precedent. If now we're negotiating for cash, and I mean, clearly we gave them more, $6 billion. I mean, at this point, what the
That's
fuck?
1.25. That's 1.2 billion people per 1.2 billion per prisoner that we just paid for.
Right. If we're just giving this out now, because we're giving so much fucking money away anyway, Ukraine and whoever the fuck wants it. So, hey, yeah. But now this sends a message to any of our adversaries.
Yeah.
They're willing to negotiate, so we can just kind of fucking take whoever. I don't know that actually the precedent sense also is now foreign people who travel abroad from the United States. You really to watch your back anyway, or you should.
Yeah.
But now it just adds that an extra level of uncertainty.
And now everybody knows America has an Achilles heel.
It does. And like I said, it adds that extra level of uncertainty. Now it's like, well, fuck. Especially if you have any kind of significance in government or intelligence or anything.
Yeah.
Now it becomes a real problem. So,
It's fucked up.
you know.
Yeah, I heard about that, and there was a lot of people like, yes, we're glad we got Americans back, but
The point isn't Americans back. That's not the point. The point is just the like, it's not an argument of whether or not we have Americans back. Of course it's good. That goes without saying. It's just the point being that, well, I guess we're just negotiating now. We're just whatever. So, but
now, do you think he did it in the hopes that with knowing his voter base, that this might renew some faith in him?
Biden?
Yeah.
No, I think that's gone. The only people that are, I mean, they're trying with gas prices. The COVID thing, I'm still scratching my head. I'm like, people are going to be pissed about that.
Yeah.
They're doing the thing with the insulin again, which they did last March, which Trump did, 3 years prior, dropping insulin to $35. But they're trying everything they can, and the only people that are going to vote for Biden are his hardcore camp or never Trumpers. Like, that's it. Like, your average Joe that's out there, because politics is pop culture and it's just everywhere now. People pay attention. You don't even have to pay attention to politics. You just fucking look at like shit you can't afford and be like,
oh, well, no. What I'm getting at is, like, the fact of the matter is, he is the first president in American history to negotiate with terrorists.
all right.
Now, this is not. I mean, no offense. Hold on. I mean, no offense to anybody who has had a prisoner of war situation with their family members, or a hostage situation with these family members overseas in any other foreign countries. You know, please do not. This is not like a fuck you to you. But how many people have? I don't know how many people you might have heard. But in the years that I've heard of this stuff take place, this stuff happening,
Right.
there have been people who are like, well, we should do whatever we got to do to get them back. I know presidents don't negotiate, but maybe they should. And here we are, Biden. I'm the first president to negotiate the return of Americans. That's how much I care about them. I wanted them back. They deserve to be back.
I mean, they did the same thing with Brittany Griner too. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
He's
like,
trying.
look how good I am. I'm doing the thing that no one else will do. Not even Trump.
Yep.
But the glaring issue with that is, cool, we got these people back. Wait, what did you give them? Never mind that. Never mind. I mean, never mind the man behind the curtain. It's a really heavy price, and like
really
I said,
is.
that is $6 billion.
And the ripple effect it's going to have.
Yeah, $6 billion.
Yeah, we're $6 billion down now because of him, but in the next 10, 20, 40, 80 years of this country, what could happen because of that?
Yeah, who knows? You know what might happen? His constituents, his voter base might turn against him. Might turn against him.
Yeah, because it sure as hell fuck wasn't his money that he fucking gave them.
It wasn't. It might turn against him like AOC's constituents. Seems to be turning against her in New York City.
Oh my God, I heard about that.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't
Holy
see
jeez.
it. I read a quick recap.
So there's protests going on in New York City.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, I mean, really. AOC was speaking in New York City and other Democrats, and they were drowned out by screaming protesters over the migrant crisis down in the city.
Right.
Now, I half feel bad for the people in the city because really, as a whole, of course, not everybody, but as a whole, you voted for it.
I don't feel bad for the people in the city at all.
But
the only ones I truly feel bad for, and I'm not even going to say half feel bad for, are the people that saw the issue and tried to say something about it, but were snuffed out.
that's why I say half feel bad, because some of them didn't vote. Some of them are just down there, and they're like, fuck, I got it. And to you people that are stuck down there by chance, if you're seeing this, and you got to get out of there.
Oh.
You might like the culture, but it's just, right now anyway, it's just not what it was. Not
Go
even
back,
what
yeah.
it was, 8-9 years ago, the last time I was down there. It's just not what it was. Like back
I'm
then.
down there multiple times a year, so it changes every time I go.
Right.
It's always like further and
What kind of
further.
change?
Oh, down.
Yeah.
It does this number.
It's rhetorical.
It does this number. But it never goes. It starts here. It started here. Like 20, 30 years ago when I was in and out a lot, it was up here. It was great.
Right.
25, 30 years ago, this was like the fucking pinnacle of the city. Community, yeah, people getting robbed, raped, shot, whatever. But still.
It's a good robbing raping.
Yeah, there was always someone there to say,
Someone
hey,
with
come
money
on.
is raping me.
I'll help you walk home.
Really, that's what it is now, but...
So
Keep
here,
going.
now, this is 25, 30 years ago.
Right.
It goes down. Started here. Goes down. Cool. Oh, maybe an up. No, we're going to go back down.
So those are election cycles.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like 4 inches, 4 years. Yeah. My man.
So AOC confronted by protesters angry over migrant crisis. The DNY and other Democrats were loudly heckled Friday at a press conference in New York City regarding the migrant crisis there. The Democrats who spoke outside the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan, which has become a relief center for asylum seekers, were drowned out by shouting protesters chanting, "Send them back and close the border." Boy, it's like this shit has been chanted for fucking, over a year now. Longer, as long as Biden's been in office. Close the border, close the border. Respect the Constitution, AOC. I am your constituent. A man was heard among the angry crowd shouting into a megaphone. What we seek to do is to make sure that all the resources are necessary and that we are joining with the city and state, Ocasio-Cortez said before the man wielding the megaphone shouted over her saying, "Illegal immigration is not right. Respect the Constitution, close the border." Representative Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome. That's what AOC stands for. Adrenochrome. There's an A, an O, and a C in it.
It's Adriana Espelante, whatever. DNY said the delegation was there to see for themselves what the migration dynamic is in our future, and that they saw children, families, and people that want to work, people that are fleeing violence, people that are fleeing environmental disasters. Of course, they got to throw the environment in there because global warming. Still, we see so many stories, heartbreaking stories, manifest itself here. What I think these are folks that will take New York City to a better place, he said, as people kept shouting out in the background. Every crisis presents great opportunity. There's hope and opportunity in this building. Noting that this is a contentious issue, gesturing toward the protesters who broke out in another chant of "close the border." The Roosevelt Hotel is an arrival center for all migrants where they can get food, vaccinations, of course, and meet with caseworkers, city officials say.
Makes no fucking sense.
Where is... okay, this is... AOC says, "I think that there are 3 points of consensus here, and they are very important in getting a solution. The first is that there is a consensus here across the geographies and state of increased federal resources to cities and municipalities dealing with the issue. The second is to allow for work authorizations so that authorizations. This is fucking authoritarian government, but so that folks here can get to work and start supporting themselves as soon as possible. They are prevented from getting jobs," which as soon as she said that, I'm like, that's because they're not fucking supposed to work here. They are prevented from employment, and that is part of the strain on our public systems. She added, the faster that folks can access the work that they're asking for legally, the better we can solve this problem. Problem with that too is now if you put a bunch of these illegals in the working force, now you're watering down your pay scale, and you're taking jobs away from the people that can work. But that's whatever. Let's see, I can play the audio here of her just being torched by everyone here. That was the biggest thing I took away from when I was listening to it, trying to listen to it anyway, is when she makes the claim of, well, we want to put them to work. I'm like,
Don't flood the work market.
And like I said, this is the stuff that these people voted for. Like they voted them, or these policies, they voted for them to come up there.
She's angry at the mayor of New York, says he's not showing leadership
But here it is.
on the illegal immigrants flowing into the city. Watch.
And then we are joining the city and state.
You can barely hear her too when she's talking.
Environmental disasters. We see so many stories, heartbreaking stories.
Sounds like he's just making stuff up as he goes along. They're fleeing tornadoes in the sea.
Sharknadoes.
The Kraken. Godzilla.
Presents great opportunity. There's hope and opportunity in this building. So I wanted to thank all my colleagues for coming.
Super herpes.
This is a contentious issue, but we are all Americans, and we all believe in the American dream. That's the common denominator.
Well, we are, but the illegals aren't Americans. I think that's what the Scream People's point is.
Ultimately, I think that there are 3 points of consensus here that are very important in getting a solution to this issue.
Hold on, it's loading.
The first is that there is consensus here across geography and states on increased federal resources to cities and municipalities dealing with this issue. The second is to allow for work authorizations so that folks in here can get to work and start supporting themselves as soon as possible. They are prevented from getting jobs, they are prevented from employment, and that is part of the strain on our public systems. The faster that folks can access the work that they're asking for legally, the better we can solve this problem. And the third is extension of temporary protected status. preventing
Just get louder.
populations from arriving here. So with that, we thank you all.
We thank you all. You know what I like about it? She's completely fucking ignoring everyone around her. You know what that reminds me of? I think this is a great analogy. Maybe not, I don't know, but it's like a stay-at-home mother with like 18 fucking kids, all between the ages of 3 and 8. And they're just running amok through the house. And she's sitting on the couch with a tea, with this over-exaggerated psychopath smile. Today's good. Things are good. What I'm doing is good.
Mom, Sarah spit in my mouth again.
Yes. That's what it reminds me of. It's like everything they're doing is just falling apart right before our very eyes. And I'm not going to lie, watching that video earlier today, actually, it just filled my heart with glee. I was like,
I've never wanted to see somebody fail more in my life.
that is damn close to true. I watch it. It's like another, once again, I make the reference all the time. It's like watching the fucking Hindenburg. It's like, man, this is like what you wanted. This is we're doing the right thing. We're doing the good thing. But as soon as all these immigrants come up from all these southern states, and now it affects Chicago and New York, San Francisco, except San Francisco's been a fucking shithole for a while now, but now it's even better or worse or whatever. Whatever. But now it's affecting these people right in their backyard. And now, same as Martha's Vineyard last summer, now it's a problem.
Yep.
Now it's like, well, we don't have the resources. Like, well, it's like that's what fucking people have been saying all along. So all these, like Texas, would be like, oh, you don't? Boy, I didn't realize that.
Neither did we.
Speaking of protests, in New Mexico, there's armed protests now because of what the governor decreed.
Yeah.
Carrying firearms in public place, making it illegal. Which it was a decree. It wasn't even there was no law. Which means local authorities aren't following it. It's pretty much the same thing that was done up here with the COVID vaccines and everything. There was a lot of local police like we're not doing
Yeah,
that.
we're not going to push the issue.
This is dumb. But what's that does is now put the governor in a spot to where she has to call in state authorities to take over. But what that does is now open a door. Does that mean the federal authorities come in and supersede state because now they technically are breaking constitutional law?
That's a good one.
What, Candy Crush?
No. The superseding law thing.
The whole thing was struck down. The court stepped in.
Yeah, I knew they weren't going to approve that anyway.
They stepped in. So what she ended up doing, I guess, is from AP AP News, New Mexico governor amends order suspending right to carry firearms to focus on parks and playgrounds. So she's still doing it, but now it's like boiling it down a little more. Michelle Grisham on Friday narrowed an order that broadly suspended the right to carry firearms in and around Albuquerque to apply only to public parks and playgrounds where children and their families gather. The governor's announcement came days after a federal judge blocked part of the order, with criticism mounting over the Democratic governor's action and illegal challenges by gun rights activists. Gunfire and violent crime in Albuquerque have continued unabated in the weeks since she issued the temporary public health order. She said at a news conference Friday, adding that she will continue to pursue a framework that will pass legal muster to rein in gun violence. What I thought was special was just that so many people just openly carry their guns on this protest. I'm like, I get what they're doing, but here's the bad thing about that is, boy, that sends the bad, because now left-wing media will grab a hold of that and be like, look, it's a militia. This is why we're trying to get rid of guns, because now they're going to take over. And now you also get the bad actors that could just go in and El Provocateurs, like what they did in January 6th, like what they do in all sorts of different BLM riots. They could just push and push until something happens, like Ray Epps. You know, I mean, you have him, you have Owen Schroyer. Oh yeah, that was another thing. Owen Schroyer, he got 60 days. Remember the other guy on InfoWars?
Oh yeah,
he ended up getting 60 days. He got charged 60 days because of what he said. He said that was enough to fire up the people there to engage in a insurrection, air quotes. The question is like, okay, so why hasn't Ray Epps been charged with anything? He told people to fucking go in. Mm-hmm. They're claiming that Owen Schroyer, because he said something along the lines of this, this administration is like tyrants or communists, or something to that effect. They're like communists, and he said death to tyranny. Yeah, they're communists, they're tyrants, and death. This is like death to tyranny, something along those lines. Because he said that was enough to incite violence. But Ray Epps, like forcing people, or not forcing, but telling people we need to go into the Capitol the day before and the day of, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Oh wait, it does. According to the left.
There you go.
Because he's their puppet.
It does make sense.
They've got their fists so far up his ass, all you see is the elbow.
It does make sense, I guess. Yeah, but I guess that's the image they could use, though, is that would set up this precedent of, oh, look, now there's all these armed people. They're setting up a militia, and this is why we have to get rid of the Second Amendment.
The death to tyranny, yeah. What's the matter? You're afraid of a tyrannical government being overthrown?
Yeah.
You should be.
They'll work on getting rid of the Second Amendment. Just like the FDA is getting rid of a whole bunch of medication.
Yeah.
That doesn't fucking work. Just in time for flu season and COVID season. Get your masks out. Get your needles out. Not heroin.
Yeah, damn it.
I mean, no, never mind.
I can't do heroin. I really wanted to do heroin. Again.
No. Yeah. CNBC, decongestant. I had to think about it. Decongestant found in many cold allergy medicines doesn't actually work, the FDA advisors say. Say a unanimous vote. No, wait. The FDA could potentially begin a process that removes. Wait a minute. Deep.
I feel energized all of a sudden.
Ah, yes.
Phenylephrine.
There it is. Phenylephrine. I always want to say phi. It's not. It's phen.
Phenylephrine.
From the market. Removes phenylephrine from the market, which would force manufacturers to pull cough and cold medications from the stores. It's found in versions of drugs like NyQuil, Benadryl, Sudafed, Mucinex, and it's not effective. Go ahead.
So there's been no definitive pull it off the market yet. They're trying to.
Hold on.
Is that what you're saying?
No, wait, hold on. All right, the main ingredient used in many over-the-counter cold and allergy medications doesn't actually work to get rid of nasal congestion. And an advisory panel for the Food and Drug Administration declared that on Tuesday, in a unanimous vote, 16 advisors said oral forms of phenylephrine, a nasal decongestant found in versions of drugs like NyQuil, Benadryl, Sudafed, Mucinex, aren't effective in relieving a stuffy nose. The FDA typically follows the advice of its advisory committees, but it is not required to do so. The agency could potentially move to begin a process that removes phenylephrine from the market, which would force manufacturers to pull widely used cough and cold medications from the store shelves and reformulate those products. The question is how long is it going to fucking take them to reformulate it?
No. You know what question just clicked in my mind the way you said all that?
What?
How did they find out this phenylephrine doesn't work?
That's a good question.
I'm assuming it's been on the market for a long time.
Yeah.
So you're telling me years and years and years of research on a certain particular medication, they finally are saying we can no longer use it because it doesn't work.
Right.
Probably decades of research, decades of data, decades of studying this chemical in these medications, vaccines maybe, decades. And because it doesn't work, they don't want us to use it.
Well, they said here's the amount of money that was made. It said, all right, retail stores in the U.S. sold 242 million bottles of drugs containing phenylephrine last year, up 30% from 2021, according to data compiled by the FDA staff. Those generated $1.8 billion in sale last year. This is my thought.
COVID vaccine works, and because it was so short, so fast, so quick, and so tested properly and researched properly, we should trust it even though it doesn't work.
Yeah, so
okay.
That's wow. It's like he knows before I know. No, it's the amount of money that was generated from it. It probably they noticed it for quite a long time. This is just a fucking theory. I have no idea, but they've known for quite some time, and they said, well, it's not really dire, so just leave it there, because for us to pull it, reformulate it, and to put it back out, we're going to lose a lot of money on a lot of different products. Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, a lot of these different companies that own these Sudafed and whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to lose a lot of money. We don't want to do that because, as we've covered many times, especially during the pandemic, a lot of the money in politics comes from fucking big pharma. Now, if we do something that takes money out of their pocket, that's going to hurt us. So just let it in. But now, for whatever reason, they're like, well, we can't. Unless, going further with that, they say, okay, flu season's coming up. In 2020, the flu disappeared. It was miraculous. There was like 18 cases of it. With flu season coming up, a new strain of COVID on the horizon are already here, and the new vaccine that this one's gonna work, according to Joe,
because they have decades of research and study, correct?
Decades of weeks, like tens and tens of weeks of studying. I don't know what they're studying, maybe Brawlhalla strings and combos, but they have this new strain and everything coming in.
That game.
Now they're going to get rid of all these medications, and they're going to offer you the alternative
super vaccine
of the new booster vax.
Wait a minute.
Which this one works.
This looks just the same as the last one. No, it's not. It's reformulated. Hold on a second. Is that a sticky label over? Yeah, it says original COVID vaccine on it. No, it's not. The sticker means it's something different. Take the jab.
Well, that mosquito was just in here. I bet you it got me. Damn it.
You're vaxxed.
Well, now I can do the dance with, what's his face? The night guy. The night show.
Oh, Jimmy Fallon?
No, the other one.
Corolla?
No. What's the other one? That's not funny. That's like all of them, but.
Clay O'Brien. Jay Leno.
No, Steve Colbert.
Steve Colbert.
That's who it is. When he did the vaccine. Remember I showed you that video?
Oh, yeah.
Vaccine. That was the most cringe fucking thing I watched. And I remember when I showed it to you, you tried your hardest to be like, well, maybe. And this is the early days of the pandemic, so I don't fault him for it. But he's like, well, maybe they're trying to, humor. And I couldn't see it. I couldn't get past it was.
I took no enjoyment in it.
It wasn't enjoyment. It was cute watching you try to let's hold on.
I just tried giving an open opinion. I don't like this, but this could be why other people might.
But it's like watching those. You see them on TikTok all the time. You watch those dating videos of like the 80s and 90s. I like those fucking weird. That was the vax dance to me. I was watching. I was like, I can't look away. But fuck, man, this is. Oh.
I like long walks on the beach, a woman that obeys, and getting pegged in the butt.
Call me. Well, I guess 2023 is the perfect year for.
That's what it was.
Him?
80s video dating.
You see, we're just out of line, like male and female or female.
See, all this shit
I don't know
should have been going on back in the 80s, 90s.
It was. Androgynous shit was all crazy. That was the thing back in the 80s. The only difference was people weren't hacking off their junk or just adding fucking magical junk that was just skin folded, twisted, like a fucking zip tie, and then stitched a couple times with a Sharpie dot put on the top.
Stitched a couple times.
Yeah, it was a loop one, like a leather stitch.
Somehow you go up again.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't want that surgery anymore.
It's tidy. Oh, you forgot the hole. That's what the Sharpie's for.
You have an awfully large urethra. Yeah, it was a Dunkin' Donuts straw.
Your clit,
that's all they had at the time.
Your clit
doctors
is like
installed
7 inches long.
Next time, I've heard about you and your oversized clit. What? You told him.
You like it?
I slipped out. Yeah. Next thing up from that is just an undersized dick.
Speaking of COVID.
So good.
PolitiFact. Quarantine camps claim takes New York public health rule too far. Kathy Hochul. There was
Praise be to Hochul.
It was a court hearing discussing these quarantine camps and imprisonment if you're suspected of having a disease. It was streamed live, so I've seen a lot of clips of it. And they were basically, the court was hearing the defense and everything against these what I think would be obvious infractions on basic human rights.
Concentration camps, basically, is what they want to talk about.
Yeah. Same thing that Australia was doing back in 2020, 2021. We were talking about that. It's like, wow, they're just throwing him in jail, basically. Right this way. So that was going on. And
do you have a prison purse or a prison wallet? I have a prison wallet. You're going to do this fine.
There was, 2 days later, Kathy Hochul had, maybe it was the same day, who the fuck knows, but Kathy Hochul had an advertisement go out talking about the new vaccine or whatever it is, about the importance of getting it, the new variant that's coming out, what it's called. And I don't know the timing, timing wise. I don't know who put it out, but I'm like, man, that's a fucking bad look. Like, if this is the same, they're doing this thing, talking about concentration camps, which fucking nobody even knew about. Like, barely anybody knew about the whole infectious disease camps, I guess what they're calling it. And then, shortly thereafter, she's talking about this new variant that's coming from Canada, or I think that's where it originated from. It's close to the Omicron variant, whatever. It's like XB2 something or other. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Doesn't matter at this point. And then they put out this thing with the new vaccine. But as far as the camps go, stop Governor Hochul's quarantine camps. There's a lawsuit centers on regulation adopted during the pandemic. The rule had been extended in 90-day periods, and the state has said it wants to make it permanent. The rule states, for the purposes of quarantine orders, quarantine locations may include home quarantine, other residential or temporary housing quarantine, or quarantine at such other locations as public health authority issuing the order deems appropriate, consistent with any direction that the state commissioner of health may issue. Under the disputed rule, the setting for quarantine and isolation can include a temporary housing location chosen by a public health authority, though in most cases people would voluntarily isolate themselves in their homes. So basically it just sounds like, if you choose not to, we will take you somewhere where you're forced to. The rule calls for coordination with law enforcement to ensure people comply with isolation or quarantine orders when necessary. The state has not ordered camps for people infected with COVID-19, and experts have said it won't start.
I feel dirty with my own mic now.
And I wonder if there's a list. They had a list, and immediately I thought of you. When they were you'll see why. I don't know if the list is on here. Yeah, the claim is people Hochul wants quarantine camps and to imprison people suspected of having a disease. I don't see. In the list, they had COVID-19 and like the flu and things of that nature. One that stuck out though, which a lot of people are like, hold the fuck on, because they're talking about infectious disease, a reason to quarantine, right? Mm-hmm. Lyme disease.
All right, I get where you're thinking of me.
That was one of them.
But it's not like I can put my wiener in you and give you Lyme. I can give you a Lyme for letting me put my wiener in you, but that Lyme's not going to give you a disease. It might flavor up your Corona Extra, but that's about it. Or if you want to make like zesty chicken Cabernet, I don't fucking know.
What?
I don't know.
See if I can find this list.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I get to go to camp.
Yay, it's fun.
I feel like I'm back in 8th grade. Speaking of 8th graders, do you know what the difference
Jeez.
between an 8th grader and a Jewish person is?
No, what?
The 8th grader came back from camp. You have to bleep that one out.
No, that's gonna be the new intro. I'm looking for this fucking.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I actually love the Jewish community, too.
I want to know this list of diseases. I saw it a while ago. Hold on a minute. I might have taken a screenshot of it before I go searching around.
Seriously, I love talking to Jewish people, too. That's the best part.
All right. You backtrack what you just said, and I'll look for this list.
I can't tell you how many times I've been able to talk to a Jewish person, and I'll sit there and give my opinion on something. Well, you're right, but... And then I'm like, oh boy, here comes the story about how this way's better. And by the end of the conversation, I'm like, I actually kind of like that idea. They're pretty smart. God damn it. They are people, just like you and me.
Where the hell? I can't find this thing.
I can't give you Lyme disease.
Well, according to this list, you can, because that, for sure, glaring stood right out. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm gonna have to find it.
Hold on.
All right.
Okay, Google. Can you sexually contract Lyme's disease? Oh, you guys are safe. Humans to humans, it's nothing to worry about. Humans to animals, though, I got to make a few phone calls and let some people know they got to get tested. There is no credible scientific evidence that Lyme's disease is spread through sexual contact. God damn it. Published studies in animals do not support sexual transmission. And the biology of the Lyme disease spirochete is not compatible, this route of exposure.
All right, so infectious tuberculosis, the plague, smallpox, yellow fever, viral hemorrhagic fevers, severe acute respiratory syndromes, and the flu, measles, your basic things, and then your COVID-19, Lyme disease. Like, it's which one does not belong? I bet you this is a fucking multiple choice thing. I bet you this is a test. Wait a minute.
And if you fail, then you go to the camp to get smarter.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's not really about infectious disease, unless they're talking about the infectious disease, the stupid people.
You can get
Listen, you have to go into camp.
You can become more stupid with.
Are there crafts?
You'll have to. I just looked at the list you sent me. You'll have to put that beginning clip at the end if you want to put that joke as the new intro. Because I just realized crazy things you've seen, seen. I told you 3 crazy things I'd seen.
Oh. Well, actually, I didn't.
We should have done the whole show in reverse this time.
That was. Oh man, there's a lot of clips. That was just like anything news or whatever that you've seen or whatever the fuck.
Because there have been a couple. That I've kind of caught you off guard with. Like the Alex Jones one about the COVID coming back. And you're like, I haven't heard nothing. Why that doesn't make sense. Then I found the video and sent it to you, and
right, yeah,
here we are talking about COVID again.
If I had, my problem is I would listen to his show all the time.
Like I warned you about the pencil in the pee hole, and you still tried it.
You have to.
I don't want to.
I would listen to his show more often, but the problem is, at least on my phone, once I bring up his page and start listening to the show, when I close the phone out, it doesn't close the show, but it'll play for a while and then just stop. And then I got to open the phone back up and then bring up the screen, mute or turn the audio off, then turn it back on his page, and then it starts again. It's just a fucking pain in the ass. It's like, dude, can Elon just let him back on X or something like that so I can just listen to the show on there?
Be on X right now,
right? Especially that's why Elon renamed his platform to X, so everyone's on X, so everything makes sense because everything's so fucking bass-backwards there.
This table is so woody.
Wow.
The snozzberries taste like snozzberries. Fucking pigs. You boys like Mexico. Woo! You killed the cows, bro. You killed the cows.
Mother of God. Bye.
Bye.